Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm here with one of our managing brokers, Kathy Arzad, and she's going to be talking about something that is really quite prevalent in real estate, no matter where you are, how long you've been in the business, but nurturing high trust with clients. So Kathy's going to be outlining the topic today. And so with that, I will pass it off to her.
Thank you, Ela. So welcome. Thank you for joining us now and in the future. I'm Kathy Arzad, your managing broker at Radius. These workshops that Dee and I present on a weekly basis are recorded and placed on our YouTube channel for future viewing. So today we're discussing nurturing high trust clients. So building trust with your client is the most essential aspect of our business. It is what these commission lawsuits have been about. Trust is also the foundation of NAR's Code of Ethics that was written in 1913. It's what the fiduciary duties are all about. So I'm going to talk about in this course, this brief course, just how to do it, how to nurture trust, how to build it, how to rebuild it if we need to, if something goes wrong, and then how to maintain client relationships. Like all of that's going to be discussed today. Benefits of building high trust relationships with your clients: increased client satisfaction, better referrals and repeat business, smoother transactions, and competitive advantage. These are all things that we want as real estate agents. So what is it though? What is high trust? It's something that I'm introducing here. So it refers to a relationship characterized by a strong mutual sense of trust, confidence and reliability between parties. In our context, building that high trust relationship between you and a client would involve these aspects: integrity, competence, benevolence, consistency, open communication. So for integrity, the agent or you or I consistently demonstrate honesty, transparency, and ethical behavior in all of your dealings with your client. That's number one, right? For competence, you're possessing the necessary skills, knowledge, and experience to effectively guide your client through that entire real estate process and help them make sound decisions by making sound recommendations. Benevolence, so you as the agent would generally cares about the client's best interest and works diligently to help them achieve whatever their goals are for that transaction, even if it means going above and beyond your standard duties. For consistency, this is when your words and your actions align and you follow through on your commitments, building a track record of reliability. Open communication is all about maintaining that clear, timely, and transparent communication with the client, keeping them informed and addressing any concerns or questions right away. So in a high trust relationship, specifically, the client feels confident in their agent's ability and with their intentions as well. They're confident with your intentions. They're comfortable relying on you for guidance and expertise during this whole process. And it's a level of trust that enables a smoother transaction, better decision-making, and positive overall experience for everyone. Achieving that high trust requires consistent effort and demonstration of trustworthiness over time. You can prioritize building and maintaining high trust relationships, which would benefit you because it's increased client satisfaction, it's increased loyalty, increased referrals, and then a strong reputation in the market. All of this are very positive things for your business. So how do you build that trust from the very beginning? First impressions, of course. First impressions set the tone of the entire relationship. Dress professionally, be punctual, have a positive attitude. These things all go very far. I know I've spoken about this in other workshops because it's important. It's important to have that overall presence, that professional presence, whenever you're dealing with your client. Listen actively to understand your client's needs, motivations, and concerns. That active listening is when you're making eye contact, when when they're speaking, you're actually either taking notes or you're repeating back what they've just told you so that they know you're really listening, and your actions then would also mean you've actively listened. Um, you can convey expertise and credibility through your knowledge and experience this way. This is all ways to build trust from the beginning. Effective communication strategies. Um, First thing is communicate clearly and transparently. So, no surprises or hidden agendas. Um, Set realistic expectations about the process, pricing, timelines, etc. Setting realistic expectations is truly one of the most important things you can do in the beginning of a transaction anyway. Because then if something happens that could have happened, like there's a high probability that this was going to happen, um, you would be able to, recover from that much quicker. You can say, okay, this appraisal, our market right now is kind of having some issues with appraisals coming in at the price that you have negotiated to purchase the house for. Um, it happened. Here's what we're going to do to get through it. I've been through this before, and I can get you through this. Don't worry. Like, that's conveying, first of all, that's a realistic expectation from the beginning that you already set. The second thing is that you're showing your competency and your ability to get the deal closed. Um, Promptly addressing issues and finding solutions. Something about being a real estate agent is all about, you are the source of the source. You don't have to know every single thing about our industry or every single thing about the market, or you just don't have to be an encyclopedia. You need to know where to go to find that information, or you need to go know where to push your client to get that information, because there's buyer due diligence and etc. So they would need to know where to go to get certain information. So just be the source of the source. Absolutely don't ignore or downplay concerns that come up during the process. um, Demonstrating competence and knowledge. So, staying current on market data, know what's going on in your area and where your geographic expertise is. Stay on top of trends, even nationwide trends, just to understand what is going on, perhaps what's coming down the pike for your market, or what happened in your market, and where you could be going next. Um, Stay current on regulations that provide, so you can provide expert guidance to your clients. Share valuable insights and analysis with your clients that can help them make informed decisions. So, in, us real estate agents, we don't make decisions for our clients. We just are consultants. We are providing expert guidance through data. So if you can provide data like analysis and insights to your clients, you're giving them a very good service. Um, Also, use your successful prior transactions as case studies to showcase your expertise. So, ethical practices, of course, the code of ethics, adhere to those code of ethics and those licensing requirements in your state. Um, and also know all of the legal contracts, all of the contracts, the state contracts, the forms and addendum and all of that, the disclosures. Know all of that very well, so that you can explain anything that comes up when your client is asking. And again, if you don't know everything, that's okay. You can, where to go to ask for help, or to find the answer, or to simply look at the document and do some analysis yourself. Um, You want to always protect client confidentiality and their privacy as a very top priority. So, if your client is going through a hard time, like say you have a listing and your sellers are going through a divorce, or they're just having some hardship, that's not something you want to tell other people. That is confidential between you and the client. And adhering to that confidentiality is going to build a lot of trust. So be honest about properties too. Disclose all material facts. Don't ever misrepresent things. So this will go a long way with your reputation in your community, in your amongst all of your repeat clients, your future clients, your sphere of influence. Just be honest about things. It'll go far. Going the extra mile. So, give personalized service here. So what is most important for your specific client? You would have known, you already know, because you've been actively listening, and you've been doing everything for your client as they wish. So what is that most important thing? Focus on that. If something comes up, again, I'm using I'll use a different example. So if something comes up you're representing the seller, you're the listing agent, and the buyer has an issue with their loan process, and the seller was already really nervous about this person's loan package, like they're not really sure about FHA loans, like they're just not sure about those. So you know this about your seller, and you're prepared to come up with, here's the facts about the FHA loans. Here is what is going to happen, what you could expect. Now, if the client comes in, or the buyer comes in with a little bit of issue with the FHA appraisal, something has to happen to the house. You already know that the seller is, kind of going to be weird about this. So you need to be able to present it in a way that makes sense to them, and a way that is very factual. So if there is a few things that need to be done, already have an idea of the pricing of what that's going to cost. Have your favorite handyman, if it's warrants a handyman. Have your favorite contractor give you an idea, an estimate of that. So you can go to your seller and say, this is what we're looking at. It's maybe going to be $300 to fix this. So see how you've already brought all of that added benefit of, your resources, your personal network, your just, knowledge of the FHA loan to your seller, so they can trust that, okay, this is going to be okay. Anticipate their needs. So be proactive in addressing potential issues. So since you do know a lot about that FHA loan, I'll just use that example still. And the listing, you took the listing and you kind of had an idea that, the the what are those called? The HD, I forget what they're called, but they're in the outlets, and there's a certain button that you press. Does anyone know?
NHD?
Yes, that's it. I had a total mind blank on that. Yes, so say those are shot right in the kitchen. They're not all of them are firing. That's something that FHA would require that to be fixed. And that is a minor thing. In the scheme of things, it's minor. But if you already had an idea of, these are the things that an FHA appraisal could call out, and that could help your seller just be prepared. Okay, Mr. Seller, these things need to be in working order. This is what it is. So knowledge is power here, because then the seller they might be able to anticipate, oh, maybe that doesn't work. I should have my favorite guy come over and fix it before the appraisal, that sort of thing. So that builds high trust. You're in that relationship together. You have the same goal, right, with your client. All of this leads to building relationships that go beyond the transaction. So that's long-term relationships, long-term success. And of course that breeds repeat business and referrals. So that's a wonderful way to have future business. Handling challenges and rebuilding trust. So this is a key slide, right? Because not everything is perfect in your transaction. Even if you've done everything right, things happen. Everyone makes mistakes. So if there is something that happens, you missed something or oops, own up to it immediately and apologize sincerely. Make amends. That'll go a very far way with the long-term happiness of your relationship and the high trust value. You might have to actually do some rebuilding of trust at that point. Use effective conflict resolution approaches to find mutual understanding, even if it's between you and your client or it's between client and seller and buyer. Buyer is not your client, but the seller is. You still can be very savvy with conflict resolution techniques, and you can get through things so easy. Things come up in every single transaction that you have to get through. And so it makes a lot more sense to be able to get through conflict than to have just a high stress situation during the whole transaction. So that also leads to trust in the relationship. Consistent transparency and actions to re-earn trust are crucial. So if you do have to rebuild your trust with your client, just be very transparent about everything and let your actions, your words and actions align. Okay, nurturing relationships after the sale. So follow up. I mean, it's simple. Follow up after closing. It's not just one and done. Okay, I got my paycheck. Bye, Mr. Seller. Follow up after. Follow up, a week later, a month later, 6 months later, you know, to ensure that everything was good and see, if they need anything. Something that I learned in the beginning, which is actually a nice tip. So if you're trying to figure out something to do to make sense, to have that touch point after 12 months of closing, I have a good idea here. So, for taxes, you have to present, if you've purchased or closed on a home in that tax year, you have to present the closing statement. And a lot of us, especially after a move, it's like, where did I put that? It's gone. So a really great way to just have a nice touch point before tax season is to send your client a signed copy of that closing statement. The HUD used to be called the HUD settlement statement. But that's a really nice way to have a touch point that makes a lot of sense for that client. You're not reaching out just to say, hello, I remember I'm a realtor. I love your referrals. Like, that's really one-sided, right? That's you. But if you give something that's meaningful to them, that makes a lot of sense. So stay in touch. You can set them up with some newsletters. I wouldn't say, of course, don't spam your past clients, but newsletters are always good, once a quarter maybe, and put some valuable things in there. Maybe have it seasonal, like seasonal ideas, seasonal maintenance ideas, or things going on around your neighborhood or around town. Make it like, valuable. And you can send notes, you can call to maintain connection. I've had several past clients who've actually become good friends of mine. And I've heard that from a lot of real estate agents, that, you are in such close contact for that 30 days, 45 days, whatever it took to get them into a house. It could have taken 6 months. And you become really kind of close with these people. Well, you don't have to stop that connection. You can, maintain it however you see fit. So to get future referrals, a trusting relationship absolutely lends itself to that, to referrals and repeat business. Okay, our conclusion. So I just want to reiterate the key principles of nurturing high trust: competence, integrity, benevolence. Benevolence is treating people with kindness. That goes really far in building trust. It's important to that trust, that you understand that trust gives you a competitive edge as a realtor. Um, there are a lot of people who aren't, building trust with their clients. So you doing that in your market is lending itself to a long-term career. That's essentially what this means. And that's the difference. You're not necessarily a transactional realtor. You are a relationship realtor. You are building long-term clients, repeat clients. You're going to help these people buy and sell houses 3 and 4 times in their lifetime. That's the idea of a long-term career in real estate. And so doing that, you can do that through building high trust in every single relationship you have with your clients. So I want to call on you all to implement specific strategies that work for you, into your future business. What can you do today to increase trust in your relationships with your prospects? Is there something you can tweak? I mean, a lot of us have our strategy. We already have our way of doing business essentially, but what can you tweak to just increase that high trust? So I can tell you that, the follow-up with past clients, that was when I was, full-time selling. That was a challenge for me because I was so busy on the existing people. I just struggled with that, to try to, keep up with repeat, past clients, and to try to do that. But that was years ago. And I mean, there's so many, software programs and things that can help you do this easily, to help you, use a CRM, first of all, just to remind you of these things, have those reminders, but also have some things set up. You can, I mean, that could jump into the next, room topic about marketing strategies for repeat clients. But that's a whole thing. You can automate some of this, so that you can put someone into a sort of a funnel, a past client funnel, and have it just go. It doesn't take away that person-to-person contact. So it is important to do some of those things. And maybe in your market, going to the farmer's market on a Saturday is your way of touching base with past clients. Like, figure it out for your business. What little things could you do to really increase that that high trust, in order to then ricochet into your future business? So, any questions or comments?
This was a really fantastic room, Kathy. I think that this
Thanks.
is, like you said, it's the little things that go a really long way. Just
Mhm.
starting with that basic kindness, it's so, so incredibly important.
Yeah.
And I hear it all the time. I mean, if you're an agent, you're in the people business. The money is kind of supposed to be the effect of that, or the
Yes. Right.
yes, exactly. So I want to make sure that we have any time for any questions or comments. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and conclude for today's room.
Wonderful. Yep.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Kathy, for sharing such really, really important information. We appreciate you so much, and thank you for your time. And so I hope everyone has a great rest of their Thursday, and we'll see you again next time in rooms.
You. Bye.